He sat in a cold interrogation room, not because he was guilty, but because he was tired. Tired of running, tired of being ignored, tired of hurting. So when the detectives asked if he did it, he said yes. And no one ever asked why. Before we dive into today's emotional roller coaster of injustice, redemption, and a truth that almost never surfaced, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to EdgeLine Stories, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Now, let's get into it. It was the kind of crime that stopped a small Ohio town cold. A local woman, 27-year-old Emily Granger, was found murdered in her apartment. No forced entry, no sign of a struggle, just gone. 2 days later, 19-year-old Marcus Bell walked into the police station. Alone. No lawyer. No shoes. And he confessed. He told them he killed her. Strangled her in a fit of rage. Said he couldn't live with himself anymore. He was shaking. Sweating. Crying. Detectives thought it was the easiest case they'd ever closed. But here's the thing. There was no physical evidence tying Marcus to the scene. No DNA. No fingerprints. No eyewitnesses. But none of that mattered, not when a poor, black teen from the wrong side of town confessed. The media had a field day. Teen killer cracks under guilt. Murder solved in 48 hours. The defense attorney barely tried. The jury deliberated for less than an hour. Marcus Bell was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He never appealed. Never fought back. He said, "I deserve this." But behind bars, Marcus wasn't like the others. He kept to himself. He read. He wrote letters. And every Christmas, he mailed a card to Emily's parents. "I'm sorry," each one read. No one understood why he was so calm, so accepting, until one voice dared to ask, what if Marcus didn't do it? Maya Lowell was a true crime podcaster in her spare time, just another teacher with a mic and a passion for justice. When she heard about Marcus's story through an old case file blog, something felt wrong. She reached out to Marcus. To her surprise, he replied. They spoke, and what he said, it wasn't what you'd expect. He didn't remember the crime. He said he'd been off his meds, homeless, hungry, and that when the police questioned him, he just wanted the pain to stop. Maya started digging. She talked to Emily's friends, found diary entries. Emily had been seeing someone new, a man with a violent record, a man never interviewed by police. She requested the crime scene photos. One detail jumped out, a red fiber on the victim's shirt. Marcus never owned red clothing. Maya released the first episode of her podcast, Wronged. It didn't explode overnight, but one person heard it. A retired cop named Ed Connors. He worked on Emily's case before retiring, and he remembered something chilling. They had another suspect early on, a neighbor. He was seen arguing with Emily a week before she died. But that man was quietly dropped from the investigation. Connors called Maya and gave her a name, Stephen Reeds. Stephen was never interrogated. Turns out he'd fled the state weeks after the murder. He lived under a new name in Montana. Maya and Connors confronted him. Stephen denied everything until Maya played him Marcus's recorded confession. And that's when Stephen laughed. I told her this would happen, he said. She always went for the wrong guys. The laughter faded, then silence. That was enough. Maya sent everything to the Innocence Project. It took 2 years. 2 long years of hearings, red tape, and legal resistance. But in 2023, Marcus Bell walked free. 12 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. When asked how he felt, he said one word: numb. Emily's parents met with Marcus. They cried. Her mother apologized. Her father asked him a question. Why did you confess? Marcus paused. Then he said, because I thought someone had to pay. And back then, I thought it had to be me. Marcus now lives in a halfway house in Cleveland. He's quiet. He still sends cards every Christmas. Only now they say, I wish I could have known her better. Maya's podcast exploded in popularity. Season 2 is in production. But just when things started to settle, she received an anonymous envelope. No return address. Inside, a photo of Stephen Reeds and Emily together, laughing at a lake house. On the back. You still don't know the whole story. Maya stared at it for hours. Could Stephen have had help? Was there more to Emily's murder than anyone knew? Marcus was free. But was the truth still buried? Sometimes, justice doesn't end in a courtroom. Sometimes, it just begins. Clapperboard if you want to hear what happens next. Subscribe to EdgeLine Stories now. Hit like, leave a comment, and tell us, do you believe Marcus was the only victim?